Hello to Army fans throughout the Hudson Valley, across the nation, and around the world. Rich DeMarco with the new Director of Intercollegiate Athletics here at West Point, the 31st AD, Tom Theodorakis. Theo, congratulations on this new position.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate you having me.
It's been a road for you to become Athletic Director. When you go through everything you've experienced in college athletics, who are the mentors that stick out to you?
You know, I've been very fortunate in my career, to really, I think, work with some of the best ADs in the country. And really at all different levels, Rich. It's been everything from a small Ivy League school and world-renowned institutions to large public schools and also another military institution. So, you know, it varies at different levels. You know, I joke in many ways, like I got my master's degree in how to become an AD from places like Air Force, University of Arizona, UCLA, and Harvard, where in many ways learning from people like Greg Byrne, who's now the AD at Alabama, and Dan Guerrero, who is, you know, longtime sitting AD at UCLA, to Aaron McDermott, who's now at Harvard, just an amazing, just a true professional in what she does. I learned so much from them, just being around them. But it wasn't until I got to West Point where I kind of feel like I got my PhD in how to become an AD, and that's working alongside, hand in hand with Mike Buddy and our senior leadership team here, where his leadership style really empowered me to take on a lot of initiatives and to be involved in a lot of the mechanics of the things we were trying to do, whether it was conference realignment or the Mikey Stadium Preservation Project or the hiring of coaches. You know, I really appreciate Mike giving me that opportunity and learned greatly from that.
What was that moment? You know, there's many young people that go into different jobs, not sure what they're going to end up doing. We study them in college athletics a lot, where you spend a year, then go, you know, into private sector. When was that moment you realized it was working in college athletics to, hey, I want this to be a career. I want to be an athletic director?
When I was a student athlete, you know, I make the joke I'm a living, breathing example of the NCAA model. If it's not for the amazing coaches, professors, administrators, ADs while I was at Syracuse that kind of put me down this track for success, I don't know where I'd be today. And that's where I learned my why. I just want to have that type of impact on others because it affected me so much. You know, I think some of you have heard this. I've made this joke. I left Syracuse with three things. Number one, a diploma, which a lot of professors were probably like, wow, I can't believe that. Number two, a national championship ring, beating Navy. So I've been beating Navy my whole life. And then number three was this sense of purpose. It was this idea that, you know what, this is something I want to dedicate the rest of my life to.
You mentioned your time as a student athlete, part of the national championship team, 2004 Syracuse men's lacrosse. Also part of a national championship team at the University of Arizona as a sport administrator for women's golf.
Yeah.
Those experiences, it's often said once you're part of a championship team, there's a bond that's forever, no matter what. What kind of impact did the experience as an athlete, experience as an administrator give you as you look at this role where you're in charge of everything?
Yeah, you know, it's had a great effect, and honestly, it's an experience that I want our cadet athletes to feel. We can win national championships here. We have. That's something I truly believe we can do here, and it's something I want for our cadet athletes. I want for our institution. I want for the long gray line. They deserve it. I think what's really interesting is that, you know, also not just national championships, right? But yes, we want to beat Navy. That's a goal. Yes, we want to beat Air Force, but we also want to win conference championships and national championships. And you saw last year with football, we're knocking on the door, right, for the college football playoff. You know, AAC championship, Patriot League championships. Those are things that we'll continue to strive for, and I think are really important when we talk about the cadet athlete experience. You know, winning matters.
The cadet athlete experience is so special here at West Point. And Theo, in your couple of years here already, you've been able to immerse yourself in many of those elements.
No, it's so important. You know, as a former student athlete, I think it's important for me to know what I don't know, right? Sometimes, and one of that is being a cadet athlete here is so unique. So for me, it's not only just to understand what they do and read about it, but when I can experience it, you know. So I've done march back, I've done CBT, cadet basic training, I've done the ACFT, the Army Combat Fitness Test. Don't ask me my score, I'll never publish that, but you know, those are things that I just try to do, not only to have the cadet athletes see me and the coaches see me and faculty see me, but really just try to understand what they go through, because it's so unique and special, and honestly what separates us from everything. And I think as I continue to kind of go through this 30, 60, 90-day plan, part of that is going to lectures, going to classrooms, and really understanding the academic piece, because that is such an important pillar to this institution. So yeah, as a whole, just really trying to understand the whole perspective of what it means to be a cadet here.
Theo, college athletics seems to be in a constant state of change. What's your vision for Army and the cadet athlete experience in this current state of college athletics?
Yeah, it's a good question, Rich, because it is unique to West Point, and I'll bookend this with General MacArthur quotes. So, as you hear many times here, upon the fields of friendly strife are sown the seeds that on other fields and other days will bear the fruits of victory, right? So everything we do from an athletic standpoint is really going to help these future men and women as they become second lieutenants in the United States Army. So that's our North Star, and we're never going to deviate from that. So developing leaders of character, build, train, inspire, educate our cadets, that's what we do. However, there is this ever-changing landscape in college athletics, and as many times we want to just hug our traditions and how we do business, there's going to be times where we need to pivot a little bit, and we need to change, and there's going to be some things we need to do differently if we want to compete in this landscape. So we aren't dealing with NIL. Transfer portal, right? Transfer portal is usually one way here. So the House settlement that's going on now, those are things that indirectly affect us, but we also have to compete against it. So, what I've asked our coaches and our staff is, throughout this chaos and what's going on, where are the opportunities for West Point? Where, through all of this madness, can actually West Point benefit from? And I think there are a lot of ways. We have the ability here to build teams, to develop cadet athletes over time, over 3 or 4 years. Those are things that I think help separate us from potentially other teams that have a constant change of what's going on. So we can build a culture. We can build some of these things that will help us, I think, build championship teams for the future. But, under that landscape of and being aligned as an institution, we did develop a strategic plan 2 years ago where, the 4 priorities of that strategic plan were competitive success, providing extraordinary Division I experience, public engagement and revenue generation, and sustainability. And I think there's an opportunity for us to build something special, to build team, and those are things that make Army West Point great. In many ways in my job, I see the end result of it, right? I see, alumni coming back and telling their story. And I try to share that with current cadets of saying, oftentimes I see them folks coming back here and saying, this was the best decision I ever made, was coming into this institution. Although it doesn't mean it's easy, right? And you're going to go through a lot of hard times, but wow, look what it did for me as a person, as a professional. And I think oftentimes if I can reflect back to them, hey, this is why you're doing it, and this is going to be the best decision you've ever made.
Theo, what's your message to Army fans?
It's thank you. I think it's been overwhelming since now being in this role, but I don't think we can thank our fans enough for their support of our cadet athletes. And I think as we continue to move forward here, I would just say, you're going to be hearing from me. So whether it's a new newsletter that I'm putting out or through email or face-to-face communication, I need to learn West Point. I need to continue to learn West Point, and I need to know and understand how our external constituents and those that are invested in the program feel about how things are going. So it's something that I really want to, as we continue to make decisions about what's going on in the department, I look forward to engaging our constituents as much as possible to understand how they feel and how they see things moving forward. So I would challenge everybody, please come back. It is important to have, whether it's alumni, community members, whoever it is, come to West Point. You hear General Gillen say it all the time, right? You want to see what America, when it looks great, come to West Point. We're the best example of it. So whatever it may be, come see these amazing cadet athletes compete and come witness a football game. I certainly have benefited from coming to summer camps here. I think let's continue to make that impact.
Theo, this has been awesome, spending some time together. Look forward to doing it again, and best of luck as the 31st Athletic Director.
Thank you, Rich. Look forward to doing this more.
That is Tom Theodorakis, Army West Point, Director of Intercollegiate Athletics. I'm Rich DeMarco. Thank you so much for watching.